Bona tarda a tothom i benvinguts un any més a NETCOM, la trobada dels comunicadors que enguany celebra la 9ª edició en un format diferent a causa de la greu situació sanitària que estem vivint, però que ens esforçarem perquè sigui tan o més especial que les anteriors. Esperem que durant una estona tots plegats ens puguem distreure i compartir, ni que sigui en la distància, la bona companyia dels companys de professió i el plaer de poder tenir entre nosaltres un dels referents mundials del periodisme, com és Bob Woodward.
I tant, Ramon. És un honor i un privilegi comptar avui amb la presència de l'editor associat al Washington Post, guanyador de 2 premis Pulitzer i un dels 2 periodistes que va destapar l'escàndol Watergate, que va acabar amb la renúncia del president Richard Nixon. Des d'aquí vull agrair-li la seva predisposició. Thank you very much, Mr. Woodward. I am convinced that most of us here today could not have imagined that one day we would share a moment with such a legend in the field of journalism as yourself.
Thank you.
Hem de ser capaços d'escoltar activament, no des de la nostra pròpia agenda, sinó per captar i comprendre millor quin és el veritable batec social. Un coneixement que ens permeti anticipar els moviments que potencialment afectaran les nostres organitzacions i definir les millors estratègies per abordar-los. Els directors de comunicació hem de ser ara, més que mai, les vàlvules que injecten el flux del pols social a les nostres organitzacions i els altaveus que traslladen quins són els seus compromisos i valors a uns grups d'interès que ja no es conformen amb paraules buides o eslògans més o menys brillants. De la nostra feina dependrà que aquest diàleg social sigui fluid, constructiu, integrador i, sobretot, transmissor de confiança. Mr. Woodward, let me introduce first topic. While listening to your thoughts about current affairs is always worthwhile, it is now even more so because they coincide with a key moment in the recent history of the United States. After 4 years with Donald Trump, who would you rate his presidency, and what, in your opinion, is the imprint it will leave on American society?
Important question. Of course, this year when President Trump lost his re-election bid, everything was dominated by the coronavirus pandemic. And what I was able to show in my reporting, because I had 9 months to work on it, and I did 18 interviews with him on that telephone over there. He would call me, or I had a number I could reach him on in the White House. And it turns out that in February, earlier this year, he told me that the virus was serious. It was going to be airborne. It was 5 times worse than the flu. Of course, he was publicly saying the opposite, that it was going to go away and disappear. By doing months of additional reporting, I discovered that on January 28th of this year, he received a top secret, highly classified briefing in the Oval Office of the White House from his national security team. And the top advisor, Robert O'Brien, told the president that the virus was coming to the United States from China. It was going to be the biggest national security threat to his presidency. Then the deputy national security advisor, who had been a reporter in China for the Wall Street Journal for 7 years, had secret contacts in China in the medical community, who told him that this is not going to go away. It's going to be worse than some of the other epidemics we've had. And very specifically, it was going to be like the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918, of a century ago, that killed 675 5,000 people. And the president told me in February that he realized some of this. I thought he was talking only about China, and then later discovered about this key meeting. When the history of the Trump presidency is written, it will begin with that meeting, because that's as if somebody had come to President Franklin Roosevelt in 1941, before World War II started for the United States, and told Roosevelt the Japanese are going to bomb Pearl Harbor. In other words, Trump knew it was coming. He kept telling me, when I persisted, I said, why do you keep saying that it's going to go away? And he said that he always wanted to play it down, downplay its significance, did not want to create a panic. Unfortunately, that shows how he did not understand the country he was leading. In the United States, there is a tradition when the public is told the truth, even if it's a bad situation, that we rally around and we solve the problem. It's when we are lied to and not told the truth. Vice President Biden, when he becomes president in January, is going to confront not just the pandemic, but the catastrophic economic conditions that have arisen from the pandemic. There are tens of millions of people in this country who are living a nightmare. So Biden's going to have to do something about the pandemic. He's going to have to do something about the economy, and he is going to have to, and I talked to President Trump about this a number of times, and said the job of the president is to bring the country together, to find common ground. A bad time for the United States. It's a bad time for the world. I know in Spain you have, 1.6 million cases of the coronavirus. 45,000 people have died. In the United States, it's about 7 times that, about the equivalent population ratio. And so, the whole world is struggling with this. And the big challenge for all countries, the United States, Spain, Europe, Asia, China, the Middle East, is going to find some way to attack the medical crisis of the pandemic and the economic crisis and the divisions and the hate, unfortunately, that has pervaded American politics.
Bob, you are right that the truth is the best way, to face problems. But I want to complete, all your interviews with Biden or your knowledge with Biden. What do you think, will be the key features of the forthcoming, Biden presidency? Are we believing that, as the president-elect said, America is back to lead the world and, of course, to go, with the right way again, compared with Donald Trump presidency? What do you think?
It's going to be a tough time, as I was saying, for President Biden. I've known him for decades, when he was in the Senate, when he was vice president, and he's very much a healer. He likes to bring people together. He once told me about the best way to get politicians to agree on something is to get them in a room and let them talk and talk and talk, so they move off their official talking points and really start listening to each other and solving problems. The Biden way of solving problems is not to be a tornado like Trump saying, we've got to do it this way. Biden's style is to say, okay, I think there's some good ideas here. There's some other good ideas on the other side. Let's bring it, all of this together and bring people together in a way that is going to solve problems and, quite frankly, make people feel good about.
Okay, how do you see the future of the media? Honestly, what will be, okay, what we have to go on? What will be the future, okay, to maintain this right journalism and to face the future, okay, in terms of technology and digitalization?
Such an important question, and obviously the internet has created an atmosphere and a culture of impatience and speed. Give it to me right now. Give me the one word or the one sentence headline that describes what's going on. That speeds everything up. And as we know, you can't describe important events with a single word or a single sentence. You have to really go in depth and explain what people are doing, what their motivations are, what they say, what they're not saying, which is often just as important as what they are saying. And you really need to dig into it. And with this idea of speed, we're getting away from really figuring out what goes on and just it's news, as they say, 24/7. I think the media has done a good, tough job. And she said, I want to give you some advice. And the advice is beware of the demon pomposity. People who just feel so proud and smug and self-satisfied. And she said, that's a corrosive poison that will harm any institution, particularly in journalism, where you reach out to the world. And I think that is great advice for the media. We need to be tough, always be aggressive. I have a rule, which is focus on what you're doing and act aggressively as you can. Yeah, well, you know, I don't know what fake news is. Trump uses the term to describe something he doesn't like. And I think the term should be actually banished. It's like this notion of journalists are the enemy of the people. That's absurd. We're not the enemy of the people. We are ultimately servants of the people, or should aspire to that.
How do you see Europe, the old continent, and something about Spain, please?
I visited Spain over the years, Madrid, Barcelona, and I've been to conferences in Spain, media conferences, and you know, look, there is an alliance of the spirit, if you will, between the United States and Europe that I think will never be broken. I think it needs to be improved. I think it's something that the new Biden administration will work on in a very serious way, realizing that there are fractures in those relationships and the alliance, but I think it will.
Mr. Woodward, it has been a great honor, okay, to converse with such a prominent figure of journalism as you. Thank you very much, truly, on my behalf, and of that, the other members of the board of directors of Dircom Catalunya and the rest of the Spain. We hope to see you soon again in the future.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it, and have a great day or evening, and may the next month, January, be better than the month of December.
Y en este año yo creo que ha sido más importante que nunca el aprender, el seguir aprendiendo, el darnos cuenta de que juntos somos más importantes. Por eso es el momento de echar la vista atrás, sentirnos orgullosos de lo que hemos conseguido, agradecer a los que lo han hecho posible y desearos a todos vosotros una muy feliz Navidad. Bon Nadal i bon any.
Cuideu-vos molt i fins l'any que ve.
Moltes gràcies a tots per ser-hi. Fins l'any que ve.